Greetings, welcome. Apologies for the delay in getting started. Very reminiscent of my game last night, of which the start of the game was delayed. Whose fault was it? Well, I was the crew chief on the game. I'm the crew chief of my tech crew here, and so the blame lies with me. And we'll discuss that in just a second. Greetings, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me. Chaos reigns here at a Better Official World Headquarters, but we're going to look at plays. We're going to look at block charge plays. What else are we going to look at? We're going to look at that rim hang, play the ball play, correct ruling made, late game timeout situation. What else do we got? Other good stuff. Interesting. I'm going to crowdsource the ruling on late game elevator play. It's a foul to me. I can't tell you why it's a foul. Maybe we can do it as a group. So that'll be a bonus play after the fact. Yes, we will cover all of the things here today. I hope everyone's doing well in their various and sundry parts of the world. I'm going to do a little housekeeping here. Quite the morning here at World Headquarters. Put that there. Okay. Tom Dart is in the stream. Good to see you in the chat from Toledo, Ohio. Excellent. Billy Mack from the small little corner of Connecticut. Did I miss something previous? Wow, there's a lot of comments. So Tom, that's interesting. The first comment that I see is Tom Dart, but it looks like there was discussion prior. I wonder why I don't see that. Good morning, Jason Hayes. We've got your last second foul play on the agenda. I guess in order to do that, there's a lot of dunking going on prior to the arrival of the officials. Interesting. The coffee is hot. I appreciate that very much. Very much. Very much. We're looking good. Got my video plays set up. Whew. Golly jeepers. We are going back. This is a great picture, of course, of Lenny Dawson at halftime during the Super Bowl. And he's got like a can of Coke and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Back in the day, that was how men played. Men. Good morning from Sioux Falls. Good morning to you, Chris. We've got a great example of habits and fundamentals from Chris and a last-second timeout request. Dave Witt in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, where is show supporter Joe Raza? Excellent. I actually have a game on Sunday morning. There's no reason why the Super Bowl shouldn't be a great game. It's a great matchup. Of course, the NFC Championship was billed as a great matchup. But maybe, yeah. Oh, this is absolutely, as crew chief, I take complete responsibility. So in my game last night, we have a girls' playoff game, league playoff game, followed by a boys' league playoff game. Personally, around here, this is not the common scenario. I think in many parts of the world, girls varsity, boys varsity, or vice versa is common. But right? Obviously, if we're making the transition between girls and boys here in California, where we have shot clocks that are different, we have 30 seconds for girls, 35 seconds for boys. Obviously, with girls, we have a small ball, and with boys, we have a large ball. boys high school ball, right? When you're making that transition, we have to cover all the things. So in our game, the shot clock was showing 30 during pregame. Assumed it was a simple press a different button. That was not the case. Our game gets started. We stop play immediately when the shot clock's showing 27 after the opening tip. Go to the table. There's an issue. They don't know how to reset to 35-second shot clock. Game was probably delayed for 5 or 6 minutes. Have to send players to their benches. Not a great start to the game. Word to the wise, cover all of the bases when you have that boys to girls transition. Mark Asmussen, are you still here in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area? It was a precursor. I called my assigner and said, I can't go today. Got to find somebody else. Oy, oy, oy. Good morning, Stan from the Pittsburgh crew. Rick from Montana. I am going to scroll through pretty quick here. Ken and Fort, good to see you on the live stream. Excellent. Excellent, Stan. Excellent. Do we need a picture? We always could get a picture. Wait a minute. Ask and ye shall receive. The farmer's always ready to go. Boy, oh boy. I appreciate that, Randy. Good to see you. Yes, I am not jumping onto the, as we enter the court, I'm not looking to make quick gotcha rulings on anything that may have... All right, good to see the weather is mellowing out. Where's Waldo? Where's Greg? All right, what time are we looking at? 7:30. Oh my gosh. Aaron Wall is in the house. Los Santon. Yeah, it could be a record. Ashton Dillon. Great to see everybody. Jack Nelson, playoffs are coming. Indeed, my game last night was a league playoff game. Section playoffs and state playoffs will be later in the month, starting next week. The coffee is strong. But I told my crew, it's like, let's, sort of in preparation for NCS and state finals, state playoffs, let's make this game, even though it was a playoff game, it was sort of like a playoff game adjacent in my mind. But let's do all the things. We had an observer there. Let's, nail all of our rotations, etc. Switching, proper mechanics, great communication, all the things. And just treat it as a tune-up. I think we were a little overly officious as a crew, a little early on. At halftime, we addressed that. Had a much better second half in terms of flow and when player has a jersey untucked. Are we gonna delay our administration of a throw-in to address that? Can we get it in a smoother fashion, etc., so that the game goes better? But I think we did a great job as a crew on the game. It's always great to we end our game. It's just like, yeah, that's our work. We can definitely say, put our name on it. That is how we officiate the game, and take pride in that fact. Were we perfect? No, we're never going to be perfect. But we did all of the main points along the way. We hit them. We dealt with anything that came up. We did it in a professional fashion, our communication and our administration of the game. So happy with the way things turned out. Platybours is in the house. Great to see you. Yeah. Listen to Jack. Do the thumbs up. How many likes do we have? 30 likes, 67 viewing. This is awesome. Appreciate you, everybody. Vic Horton. Vic, I've got a block charge play featuring a Sacramento official. Coming up. It's our first play. Yeah. Devin Walker, good to see you. David Heiger. Heger. I'm going to say Heger. Tell me if I'm right. The German, the I before the E is E, and the E before the I is high. Ay. Gene Boglin, good to see you. Jake, this Tuesday, I'm reffing my first varsity game at this part of the season. That's fantastic. First of all, Jake, that's tremendous. Just a fit, trust your training, trust everything that you brought to the game. Don't try to do too much. It's easier. Refereeing varsity games are easier than JV games. The play is better. Everybody knows the game wants to move more effectively, etc. So, what can you do at this point? Are you going to take? It's just like we just had a playoff meeting, and the guy leading the meeting wanted me to talk to the officials about the rules book and where you can find things in the rules book. And it's like, look, it's the playoffs start next week. You are not going to learn the rules or learn, the time to do this has passed. Now we just have to go out and officiate the game. Right? So we can't really cram for this situation. What you want is to make all of your previous work on the season leading up to these events, leading up to the higher scrutiny games, etc. So if we are a young official or we're a JV official and we are working towards becoming a varsity official, we want to do the things in our games that prepare us so that when we step into that situation, even though we may feel it's something different, it's really pretty much the same. And all my habits and fundamentals, which we're going to see in the videos today, are on point, right? So all I can say, Jake, is have a great time. Hopefully you're with a partner who's there to and recognize your situation. You can be completely honest. This is my first varsity game. How do you want me to approach this game, crew chief, etc., and get that rapport going? They may, tell you to, don't try to do too much. Maybe, we'll take care of the game, etc. But at the same time, if we're preparing ourselves for these games, we're preparing to take care of the game and be ready to contribute in all areas. So let us know how it goes, and congratulations. That's awesome. All right. Dave we are feeling the pain in more ways than one. In more ways than one. I had a hip x-ray yesterday. We'll see what's going on with that. Okay. All right. So it sounds like pregame there was like a little dunk contest going on, taking advantage of the fact that the officials weren't on the court, etc. And they come get you and say, "Hey, you got to get out of here." Right? These guys are dunking like crazy, or whatever. Maybe in that situation, we could do something preemptively. Like they do, like Billy says they do in Texas, like blowing our whistles, coming in, etc. Just take care of that. Not a common situation. Tim, better games of the season last night. Team down at home. Came back from 25 down in the second half to go into overtime. 3 overtimes later, lots of end of game stuff, right? And again, of course, when we're working our games, maybe that low level game or whatever, we're preparing for the situations where all of our skills have to come to bear. We've got a great play today from Chris Janish about a last-second timeout request. We had the play last week from the Florida State or Mississippi State Championship, where we it's like, how would I want to behave in this situation? What would my recognition want to be, etc. It's great when we get a chance to utilize all of our skills. Sometimes we have the high scrutiny game, the big game, etc., and the skills don't come into play. It's either a blowout or there's no last-second drama. It doesn't materialize, but we're prepared for it. Excellent. Yeah, that's the NFHS. Michigan. All right. Wow. 60 in Connecticut. All right. Let me do this. I'm going to search for Q because I said that if you put a Q in front, if you put a Q in colon, but I could search for Q. And Justin has followed the rules and has a question. Coach for Team A is coaching box, but on the court. Team A dribbles into the front court where Coach A is on the court. Player A loses control of the ball, and it hits the coach. Ruling. Well, the coach is clearly out of their coaching box and are liable for any and all penalties related to that. They have had a behavior that put them in a position where, right, they have interfered with the play of the game, right, inadvertently or not. If they were off the court and it hit them, that's no big thing, right? So, yeah, easy to go tactical foul on the head coach. They are out of their coaching box. They have interfered with play. Cut and dried, simple, straightforward. That's always on the table. I had a play in a gym where there is literally no room on the sideline. Late game situation, coach is on the court because literally coaches would have to, in this gym situation, would have to intentionally make space between the player's feet on the bench in order to avoid being on the court. It hits the coach. They reach down for the ball as a reflex, but don't contact it. And I said, play on. So, Justin, you can always use discretion in that situation if it did not affect, the ball was not going out of bounds. There was no defensive pressure. The contact, etc., was, it was a blowout game, etc. We can use all of those variables. But if the coach is in that position, they have put themselves in that position, and they are liable for any and all penalties that may result. Jack asks, suppose it was a fan and not a coach. Well, let's suppose it was a little kid who ran across the court. It happens. Stuff happens. If the fan was out there saying, "Ref, you suck," and it was, what are we going to do? We're going to stop play. The ball is going to go to Team A. They had team control in the front court. Something has happened. We have stopped play. If it was a fan, it was a little kid. What are we going to do? That kid, gone. I had the cutest kid in my game the other day. Cutest kid. And there was a little bit of movement towards the court during the game. But Mom reined him in. It may have been a girl. I don't know. It was very young. Okay. All right. Get rid of that. All right. We got to get the show going. All right. Billy Max got the case play. A1 dribbling in Team A's backcourt. When the ball is deflected by B1, the ball goes away and contacts a child who has run onto the court, right? And we are going to, stop play in that situation. What do we have? Team A dribbling the ball in the back court. Did the deflection by the defense cause a change in team control? No. So our point of interruption, which I'm sure will be coming as A, while walking inbounds on the playing court. B, walking out of bounds. The official sounds the whistle. In A, the ball is not out of bounds, and we would award the ball to Team A. And in B, the kid is out of bounds, and we would have an out of bounds violation. That's a lot of words on that case play. Yeah, the question is what led them to be on the court, right? If it was our Uber guy with walking on the court with the delivery, Dave Craig with counsel for Jake Taylor. Communicate with your partners. Call the obvious. Hustle. And really know what happens next, right? That's how we can display we have an understanding and a firm grasp, right? My partner has a foul. I'm going to administer the resulting throw-in. I'm going to administer the resulting free throws. Move with confidence, knowing what's going to happen next, etc. And act like you've been there. Like we say to the kids, the shot blocker who blocks the shot and then wants to puff up and, act like you've been there. All right, come on now. Let's see. All right. Am I ready? Enough yammer. What is it, like 10 o'clock here in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area? Okay. All right. I have that. Yeah. Welcome back to 5 Play Friday, the show where we look at all the things. Let's get started today. We're looking at 5 plays. Stick around. Greetings. Welcome back. 5 Play Friday. We're looking at all the things. We've got block charge plays. We've got some habits and fundamentals to look at. We're always looking at habits and fundamentals. But let's get started with our play number 1. It's a you make the call play. What do you have on this block charge play? All right, block charge. What do you have? Put your ruling in the comments below. And we'll take a look at that. Just a second. Put your ruling in the comments below and stick around to the end of the show. We'll review play number 1 at the end. And with that, let's move on now to play number 2.
Tip off at 7:30. Another free throw miss. Another rebound for Reardon, and Hillman hits the deck after grabbing the board.
Well, there you have it. The play, you know that one. Hey, thanks for joining us today for 5 Play Friday. We're looking at all the things, habits and fundamentals, proper adjudication of plays. What do we have on this play? where our calling official rules a blocking foul on a player on the floor. Let's take a look at all of the things here, right? So this is obviously an end-of-game situation. Less than a minute remaining. Black is trailing by 10. We have a rebounding situation on a free throw, and a foul is ruled by the trail official. National Federation of High School Basketball rules. Is this the correct ruling on this play? I mean, we see a player being tripped by another player. Our first reaction, of course, is that's a foul. But NFHS has determined that a player who is on the floor is entitled to that spot on the floor, and that unless they have an intentional action that leads to being deemed a foul, that they are entitled to that spot, and if another player trips over that player, that it is not a foul. That is the NFHS ruling in this situation. I guess it was a case play that was in the case book and has been removed from the case book. How new officials are supposed to understand that this ruling occurred in the past, I don't know. But this is our situation, so let's look at the play itself. We've got rebounding action. This is late game situation. Possible push in the back, but we have control by the rebounding team, and then the player trips. Right? Right? We have a player on the floor. Oh, hold on. We have a player on the floor, and we note the body position of this player. Now, they got to the floor legally. Their knees are up off of the floor. They're not prone on the floor, but they have achieved this position on the floor naturally. They've done nothing intentional in this situation. Our rebounder trips over the extended leg. And our trail official rules a blocking foul. All I could say is NFHS says this is not a foul on our prone player on the floor. The correct ruling here should have been, since the player holding the basketball fell to the ground holding the basketball, a traveling violation would be the correct ruling per NFHS. At other levels, collegiate, pro, the liability is on the player on the floor. NFHS specifically says that this is not a foul by our prone player on the floor, and we're going to have to do with that what we will. So, our calling official in this instance is in error. Correct ruling, traveling. I wonder if our calling official would have something different if it happens again. What are we going to do with this play? What are we going to do this play? Todd, I hear your words. I hear your words. I understand that is the ruling. That's all I can say. I understand the ruling. If this occurs in my game tonight, will I rule a blocking foul? Or will I say, no, NFHS says that play is legal? Although we do have some young officials on this play, potential young officials. Oh, look at 24. He's got great mechanics. He's got his elbows up. He looks good. We got to recruit that kid. Yeah. My brain says foul. I know the words. Jerry, that is, of course, the conundrum. Is that player is obviously not legal. They are obviously extending a leg into the path of an opponent who trips over their legs. I'm not sure what that means, Todd. But obviously, our trail has made an erroneous ruling in this situation. Okay. Jack, you obviously have excellent judgment. Excellent. Sue, NFHS legal guarding position does not apply, and good to see you on the live stream. The specific ruling is every player is entitled to their place on the floor, no matter how they got there. And NFHS says the player on the floor has no liability unless they take some action. So is there any way we could have a common foul on the player on the floor in NFHS rules? Is that possible? Because if they did something intentionally, like if they extended a leg intentionally, it would rise to the level of an intentional foul. So my brain just can't handle it. It can't handle it. Randy Wilson, I like it. I like it. I don't see anything in the casebook currently that tells me that this is not a foul. Okay, so Billy's going to point out that NFHS has said that as long as there are no relevant changes or interpretation changes to invalidate a previous case play or interpretation or point of emphasis, that we're supposed to know all of these things that have potentially occurred in the past over all the previous decades, and we're supposed to know all that stuff, even though if I get my rules book out, well, there's nothing in there. I get my case book out, well, there's nothing in there. All right, the logic there being that we can't have a tome of a case book that has thousands of rulings, etc. But I don't see how we can achieve any level of consistency across high school associations if or especially we think about the situation now, where we have an aging population of officials, right? The snake that ate the rodent, it's flat, big lump, flat, right? We've got this aging group of officials. New officials have to come in. We're going to have an influx in the next decade. There has to be, basically replacing an entire portion of the current officials. How are those officials supposed to consistently apply the rules based on an interpretation or a case play that was removed a decade ago? How are they possibly supposed to know? How could we have consistency? So the old geezer on the crew, who in this case got it wrong, but who knows that that old case play should still apply even though it's been removed, and the young official, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense. Dave, excellent. Rules, I appreciate you. Lost Lake is here. Excellent. Yeah, everybody got to their spot. There's nothing about the takeaway on this play is player gets to the floor and it's not their responsibility. Their knees are up because it's a natural position for being on the floor. I mean, if they're on the floor, are they supposed to lay as flat as possible? I mean, you could try to avoid. But that's that. That's that. All right, our official got that one wrong, but what do we have? We've got a next play mentality. Let's go. All right, great play from Roger Weigel. Play submission, appreciated, Roger. Block charge play. This is a habits and fundamentals play all the way, right? We have a block ruled, right? The ball goes in, we score it, etc. If we look at the habits and fundamentals of our crew, what do we want to have on the court? What kind of demeanor? What kind of response? What kind of habits and fundamentals that will keep us out of trouble, right? So that's really what we're concentrating on this play. In simply ruling on the action of the play itself, we've got a ball handler, defensive player attempts to get in the path but never achieves that. A blocking foul is ruled. Habits and fundamentals of the calling official. Let's take a look. And let's look at the other officials as well, right? What do we want to have? We want to have the fist up. We see our center official started to make a ruling on the play. You could say it was the center official's primary coverage area. Coverage on a play like this is going to be, potentially confusing. Do we have great demeanor and habits and fundamentals at the spot of the foul by our calling official? I'd say there's room for improvement, the biggest room in the world, right? If we take care of business at the spot of the foul, we know who the fouling player is, right? We're doing the dreaded look back. We avoid the basketball, which is great. Right? When we do the look back, right, does it enhance our credibility? Does it diminish our credibility? How can we resolve that? Just take care of business at the spot of the foul. There's no rush. There's no rush to get to the table. Find the number of that player. Say to that player, white 12, that's yours, or whatever her number was. That's your foul, right? If we at the spot of the foul vocalize the player's number, it's going to be really easy when we get to the table. A great habit and fundamental for young officials. Now, let's take a look at the habits and fundamentals of our non-calling officials. Body language, etc., right? What we want is that our body language will support the fact that our partner has made a tremendous call, right? We are supporting our crew. The immediate discussion with the assistant coach by the trail after the foul is ruled. Competitive game, second period. I don't think that's appropriate in this situation. Our center official, their body language is not supportive of the call. They may be saying, oh, I should have had a whistle on that play. I should have taken, whatever. I wish I had done these things. But in the absence of that, we want to have great fundamentals, etc., right? We have a situation with player on the floor as the center official. We want to close in, be aware of clocks, etc. The trail official with the shrugged shoulders, is that supportive of our partner? Yeah, I would say that about that, right? What we want of course, is habits and fundamentals in our game that are positive and repeatable. Each and every block charge play like this, I do great mechanics at the spot of the foul. When my partner has the call, I want to recognize when I watch my own game video that my habits and fundamentals as a partner in the situation are supportive of our partner's call on a play, right? So we're putting our crew ahead of, maybe it's like, oh my gosh, that was a horrible call, right? But you may think that, right? You may, think, oh, that doesn't fit our game. We just had the similar play and we went the other way. I wish you hadn't ruled it that way. Whatever. But our outward demeanor has to be fully supportive of our crew so that we maintain that integrity, right? So when we analyze our game video, we're looking at all the things. We're looking at all of the things. Quit your yammering. Wait a minute. Did I see Chris Harano in the house? Great to see you, Chris. We got Sue Mahakian in. We got a little JC crew going. Awesome. All right. Let me see. Right. So the other thing we have, of course, on the play is the embellishment by the defender, right? They create the contact and they throw their head back. Is there anything about the contact on the play that would cause that reaction from a player, right? So first of all, we identify, right? She's, attempting a maneuver that she is well versed in, right? I'll create contact and then I will fall back, right? So it's like heads up. This player may try to fool the ref in the future. I agree with you, Jerry. Well, I'll tell you what, my game on Saturday is another league playoff game. And one of my partners on the game, I'm looking forward to seeing him because I haven't worked with him and since like the playoffs a couple of years ago. But what am I more excited to see? His prodigious beard. It's magnificent in all respects. Dave, you don't like the block call on this play? Yep, primary coverage on the play would be a question. Our C does not come quickly, and our C does not double, right? Which would, bring into bear questions of would they show, as our lead official does not put a fist up and just goes with a block signal, opening the door to potential confusion. Randy says no. Larry, that would be the correct mechanic per NFHS. I don't know if you do something different in Michigan. I agree with Mike. Defender was never in the path. Center would appear to disagree, right? Would appear to disagree because their body language says that they are not fully supportive. Right? And you could say, like maybe I'm the center official. It's like, I've got to take that play. I have to have a quicker whistle, right? Etc. Maybe they're like just down on themselves for something about the play. But what does it come off as? We have to recognize the optics on plays. I don't know if LGP was even ever achieved. Yeah. But it's pretty much head and shoulders past here. Pretty much never in the path. I like it. Agree with you, Dave. Agree with you. Yeah, so this is going to be a gray area coverage play. Is the trail going to stay with that play all the way, across on the far side of the lane and make a ruling on this play? Is the center going to pick it up? When are we going to pick that up? Of course, well, here in California, there's no closely guarded count for a girl in the girls' game while dribbling the basketball, right? So our ability to communicate who has this play with a count, which of course does not occur from the trail official, is impaired as well. The rollaways stay away. I have not heard that language. Curl away, yes. All right, I am going to move on. Let's see. Yeah. Next play. All right. So this play from TikTok, submitted by Dan Ravenscroft, right? A good example of a player who is on the ring, holding onto the ring, and using it to create an advantage, allowing them to potentially play the basketball where they reach for the ball. Do they contact it? Do they not contact? Is that a factor on this play, etc.? So bringing this to NFHS rules, this is NCAA men's, but bringing this to NFHS rules, the player who maintains the holding of the ring and reaching for the basketball has used the basket or the backboard to gain an advantage. This is a player technical foul by rule. In the absence of using it to gain an advantage, is the player, while they may have been initially grasping the ring in an effort for safety, right? And I think there's a case for that. We have that. When the ball goes through the basket, let's take a look. Do we have a player contacting the ring? Is that basket interference? In the absence of a technical foul, would the player who is contacting the ring while their teammate legally dunks the ball, have they committed basket interference? Have they contacted the ring or contacted the basket while the ball is on or in? Yes, they have. So at the high school level, our adjudication of this play would be really straightforward. Player technical would be the correct ruling. In the absence of a player technical, basket interference should be ruled on this play. It's pretty straightforward to me in my mind. Anytime a player grasps the ring and attempts to play the basketball, that is a player technical foul by rule at the National Federation of High School basketball level. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. Yeah, a little out of sequence today. Ted has basket interference. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. But it regarding the previous play, Mike, but I'd never heard that. I'll get back to it. Ted has basket interference. Clearly basket interference. That's a easy way out, Joel. Especially, since the player didn't contact, it doesn't appear that they contacted the basketball. We've had plays previously where the player did contact the basketball. Is the flange the ring? No, the flange is not the ring, but when it comes to basket interference, it's to contact the basket, which includes the flange, the ring, and the net. Yeah, so it's a great example, Dave, of a legal action by a player. If we ignore the reach for the basketball, right, and we say that that player was contacting the ring for safety reasons, right? They got this huge kid in green underneath him, right? Can you imagine, right? That kid's beneath you, right? They are legally contacting the ring to protect themselves, but that legal action, when their teammate puts a ball in the basket, is not legal. Just like a player who dunks and depresses the ring legally because of the force of their dunk, but the ball does not go in, and then the release of the ring causes the ball to rebound up. That's basket interference. Even though everything that the player did was legal, it becomes illegal based on something subsequent. So even though it would be legal for him to grasp in this situation, the basket interference should be ruled. Thomas says, no tee, he swung and let go, period. He swings, but he reaches for the ball. Yeah, well, they come at you fast, man. They come at you fast when they do happen. It's like, we're not used to seeing that, I mean, obviously these are large men, explosive athletes. I apologize for that little video glitch. The tech team. Yeah, it's their fault. Kevin Brooks, good to see you. Good to see you. All right. All right. All right. All right. Next play. All right, a great play from Chris Janish. Habits and fundamentals. We have to use our interpret the situation here. Obviously, an end of game situation. Clearly, a goal has been scored, and the visitors in this case are now the game has become either tied or they are trailing. So the visiting coach requests a timeout, right? Last week on 5 Play Friday, we had the Mississippi State Final where there was a request by a coach in a similar situation, and we looked at the habits of the fundamentals of the crew. What the crew in this situation has to do is recognize that the timeout has been requested, and they have to have knowledge about the clock. So when we look at situations like this, which are critical in the game, right, we're going to have to use all of our skills, habits, and fundamentals and bring them to bear in these situations. So our center official in this situation, right, the ball goes through the basket in this end of game situation where the visitors are now in a position where they would logically request a timeout. The first habitual action by the center official after the ball goes in is to look at that coach. This is a fantastic habit and fundamental. You want to bring it into your game. Does that mean that the coach will request a timeout? No, but if they do, we do not want to miss that request, right? We come onto the court emphasizing the fact that a timeout was requested. But, so our center official has taken that action. The ball has gone through the basket. Maybe they have a snapshot of the clock. They have to turn and recognize the timeout. What is the number? Where's that number going to come from? It has to come from the crew. We have to have an opinion about when that center official blew his whistle, what was the number on the clock? Do we have habits and fundamentals that give us that clock awareness in this situation? So, fantastic example from Chris on this play. We absolutely want to develop our habits and fundamentals in end-of-game situations so that without question, we recognize that timeout, right? We are not going to be like, oh, was he right? Somebody has to be aware of requesting that timeout, and we have to have knowledge about what the number would be on the clock. We're going to have a subsequent play coming up where those questions will come into play as well. And when we analyze our game video, I cannot stress it enough, we're looking at those habits and fundamentals in key moments of the game. To young officials, we always counsel, always identify when a coach is making a timeout request at any point during the game. Don't miss it. Don't miss substitutions who want to come into your game. Be aware of the key situations and you are way ahead of the game. So this is a great example from Chris Janish, who submitted the play. If you want to submit a play, I'll tell you what, there's a link down in the show notes. Submit your play and it will be potentially on a subsequent episode of 5 Play Friday. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Come on, man. Come on. How about it? From the rafters. And of course, our game clock view, I tried to enhance it. I kind of screwed it up. Our game clock view, what is the number in this situation? Obviously, the trail official and center official have to come in, and it's just like, what do you have? I've got 2.3. I've got 1.7 or whatever, right? We could take a look what the number should have been. I'd say that's 3 and we are at 2.9 right here. So Chris is already looking. So he's detached himself from the clock at this point. I'd say it's at 2.3. I'd be interested to find out what they actually determined. So 2.9, it's through. 2.3, the whistle blows. Right? Really emphasizing the fact that we have that timeout in this situation where there's a lot of noise in the gym, etc. Yeah, awesome stuff. Great job, Chris. That is what we want to display in this situation. Let's see what our trail has. Right? So trail didn't instinctively look over their shoulder anticipating the timeout. Lead can really, again, if we have a habit of looking to the bench, he's looking at the thrower who's also requesting a timeout. Oh, excellent. But we got to have that number. Got to have that number. Chris, let me know what number you came up with. That's the giddy up. That's the giddy up. I mean, it is South Dakota, right? They got cowboys out there. No, that's Wyoming. Uh, Good catch, Kelly. Good catch. I did not catch that off the jump. But we have to, the challenge is we have to relate that request, right? Well, obviously, we want to put a whistle as soon as the request is made, but we need clock awareness. And that's the bottom line, Mike. We have to know situations where they are likely to be requested. Will they always be requested? Right? Of course, in the NCAA women's game, we have the ability to advance the basketball in the final 59-9. If a team requests a timeout, they can advance the basketball, something that I cannot for the life of me understand why they don't do for NCAA men. It's a fantastic rule and it makes the game super exciting. But in this situation, we have to be, but of course the clock would stop in the collegiate game. But we have to be aware because the ability to advance the ball goes away when an action is taken, such as making a pass or dribbling the basketball. So in late game situations, right, we're trained. The ball has gone through the basket. We recognize the clock has stopped. We are listening for that coach or turning to that coach. I assume Chris is talking about the team has to have the ability to have a timeout granted. Yes. Yes, I agree with you, Jacob. Well, we have to grant a timeout, the ball has to be dead, or we have to have team control established by, yeah, right. Tom, you're gonna have to clarify that question. Too many variables as presented. I mean, to me, it releases the ball on a pass, on a try. If a player releases the ball on a try, like if this was an air ball and not a block shot, right? The player would legally, and it was deemed to be a try, then the player would legally be allowed to, without restriction, of course, at other levels, right? When you're watching your NBA game, a player may not do that. The situation that you have described, Tom, releasing a try and then catching their own air ball, as it were. All right. 2.0. Thank you, Chris. So that is what they had, what they knew. That's pretty accurate. I mean, if we went to the monitor, yeah, we'd probably come out with 2.1 or something like that. That's tremendous. uh, well, I'm assuming we would make that correction anyway if we had definitive knowledge, right? So Aaron describes a situation where we are within the final 30 seconds, and it's an 8-point lead. And the clock runs from 24-2 down to 23-5. Is this going to be a game deciding decision if we decide to put the clock back at 24.2? No, no. Its chance of impacting the game is super small. But we do that in that situation. We have that clock awareness. We bring that into our game. We fix the clock so we get reps doing this. This is what we do in end of game situations. And then when the critical moment of a game comes, we have the reps. We are comfortable doing it. We have clock awareness. We know how to find the number, a logical number in that situation, and fix the clock. So I don't know anything about that, JT. Good to see you in the chat. Yes, I think we can appreciate the giddy up. You know, if we'd had a little slapping of the ass at the same time, then it's tens across the board. So, Chris, you're saying that's a conversation. You have one timeout remaining. I'm going to assume that on a made basket, you're going to request a timeout. I still need to recognize it. Yeah. So right. Oftentimes we'll get in a situation. We are in the front court. We are administering free throws, and the coach comes up behind us as trail and says, "On a make, I want a timeout." This gives us guidance. They are going to make a timeout request, or I'd say I'll listen for it, or something that implies you still need to make the request, but we are predisposed to recognize that they will be making that request, etc. So, we still need the process, right? And we want to encourage coaches. You saying that to me, hey, like on the first of two, hey, on the second one, if it goes in, I want a timeout. Right. No, I'm not going to carry that with me. And then when the ball goes in on the second one, I'm going to grant you a timeout just because. Right. We need to, say you need to do these things. Right. Coach calls a timeout using some meek signal or a light, small voice. We finally grant the timeout. We pull the teams out of the huddle. Coach, help me out. Be bigger, demonstrative. Make the request. Right. Use a big voice, etc. Help us out, and we can make sure we don't miss that call. So we're working with the coach. We understand their intent, but they have a responsibility as well. Only 20 held balls? I think you got out lucky on that one. All right. Okay, this is playing. All the things are good. All right, at the start of the show, we had that block charge play. You know that one. Let's take a look at play number one and break down all the things. All right, a charge was ruled. What did you have on the play? Let's look at all the now we can start with the habits and fundamentals of our calling official. Very confident and assured with the ruling, right? No hesitation, no doubt, strength, right? Which is fantastic. Of course, we're going to want a fist up in this situation? Would it give us a moment more to process the play? Do we need more on this play? No, but habits and fundamentals want that fist up. We're using a bit of an archaic signal here in 2023, right? We would want to use the approved signal, only approved signals, but there is no doubt from our calling official what the ruling is on the play. Did we get this play right? Does our defender do anything illegal in this situation? Now, also recognizing that this is like, it comes at you fast, right? The energy of the game was made basket. We're going to go the other way. Suddenly a steal, etc. Let's see where our calling official is looking on the play. Right? Recognizes the steal. Picks up the defender, right? Do we have a good look on this play? Right? Yes. Yes, we do. All right. Now, using, again, NFHS rules, is this player in legal guarding position, right? That could be our starting point. Do we have legal guarding position? Now, we have a player who is moving towards their opponent. When does the criteria for moving towards your opponent end? Does he become stationary and no longer moving towards his opponent prior to contact? 2 feet on the floor facing the opponent prior to the player going airborne, right? The feet are on the floor, torso contact. It's a banger. Now, to me, right, our player in white is moving on a path that is in this direction. Our defender puts a foot down and then shifts their torso while the foot is down. Does that change the legality of their play? Right? Something to think about. Right? They firm up on that left foot. You could make a case that this is legal guarding position. NFHS, I think they say this is legal guarding position. That they established in the path, did nothing illegal afterwards, even though they shift their body, right? And we'd have a correct ruling on this play. I think by NFHS standards, this is the correct ruling. This is a charge by rule. Even though our player is moving sort of in a tangential path, what did you have on this play? This is a banger, and the reason why it would be challenging for us is it's going to come at us fast, right? That we don't have a lot of anticipation for the play. Our calling official on this play does a great job of recognizing, no, here it comes, block charge, and I'm ready. I've got a great angle on the play, makes a definitive ruling, is very strong and dynamic with their ruling, possibly some improvement on the sequence of events with their signaling and the use of signals, but great strength on the play. And that's what we want to display as basketball officials. What did you have on this play? Do you agree with this ruling? Charge by rule? Let us know in the comments below. Awesome. I don't know, man. I don't know. Since I got that other play wrong, I figure my instincts may be wrong. All right. Still a block. I missed any previous comments about this play. Keith Rock has a block. lost leg. Defender kept moving forward. I do not think that is the case. Our brain can easily be fooled, though, in this situation because of the movement of the torso. Their feet are planted on the floor. They move. They do not move forward relative to their feet. Moving forward. Slid to his left. What slid, William? What slid? His feet were planted on the floor. Especially in the moment, Mike. Especially in the moment, right? I mean, Chris in Wyoming, he's got it down. He's like, boom, bah. And some officials do. I'm really priding myself. I've really adopted the proper signal for NFHS. And yeah, that kid was down for a while, Larry. But he did return to the game, and I told him I was really glad to see him when he came back. Do note something about this play. Oh, come on, man. We have Malia, a girl, playing on the boys' team. This was senior night. She had a great family contingent there. We were really wanted to get her some success. She did not have any success. No, her 3-point tries were not very good and would not go to the basket. But not something you see every day. I don't know if the school does not have a girls' team or what have you. Yeah, exactly. That's taunting. Did our defender jump, or did they simply get taller in situ? Slides under an airborne opponent. Again, what slid? What slid? Kamali has a charge. So describe to me the sliding portion of things. There's no movement of the foot prior to contact. I would rule this a block. I mean, I'm with you 100%, but because they basically move their torso, but NFHS. Michael's got player control. Right. So let's just review the exact actions of our player. Right? They are in a stance, right? Their knees are flexed, their feet are on the floor, right? Everything we would say is legal at this point, yes? We're going to agree on that. They simply stand up in place. That left foot does not move. Their torso shifts towards their left foot, but they don't shift their body other than within their stance. I don't know that the foot ever moves prior to contact. And yet the shifting of their body causes the movement. That's all. That's all. Thanks for joining, Jack. If you got a roll, I appreciate appreciate that, but I'm taken out of that comment by Adam. Yeah, incidental. Uh, well, that's all you get. That's all you get in the game. Scott's got a block. This is going to be a banger. I mean, it's just a banger, right? When we make rulings on plays like this, especially, did we have the ideal position? No, as the calling official. I mean, there's a straight line element. The movement of the defender, the movement of their defender is not going to be as perceptible. If we had this play from the camera angle, we may have something different, right? But it's a banger, and you gotta go with what you know. Gotta go with what you know. Torso can't move forward, right? So relative to what, right? If I'm in a defensive stance and I stand up, will I have moved towards? Will my torso have moved towards? I get to stand up. The principle of verticality says I get to stand up, right? Oh, oh. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. This is not a school that is affluent. I don't know what the issue is there. Yeah, yeah, that was the case on this play. Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough, Tom. You got to go with your instinct on a play like this. Yeah, where was the trail? He could have come in. Like, no, 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 I got player control. I mean, I have a block. Yeah, you can if you use the proper. You can call a blarge by yourself if you use the behind the head and bang the hip mechanic. Then you got to. Yes, obviously, it needed a whistle. This is a two-person game in transition. Our new lead is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, if I was there, I'm calling a block. Yeah, old school gym. Actually, this gym was the site of my first varsity game back in the day. As my JV crew was preparing for the game, they come in and explain we had to switch the schedule around and we're going to do the varsity game first and then the JV game. That was exciting. That was exciting. All right, enough of that yammer yammer. How about it? How about a bonus play? Oops. All right, my voice hurts just hearing the call on that play scenario, right? Habits and fundamentals, end of game situation, exciting, dramatic ending to the game. I've superimposed the clock just to provide some clarification. Of course, this is NCAA men's, right? Going to be different at the high school level. NCAA men's, the clock stops on a score goal in the final 59.9 of the game. Did our clock stop properly? Did our crew recognize that situation? Ultimately, we have a scored goal. Again, the clock would stop on a scored goal. Do we have the correct timing on the play? Should the game have been over at that point? Signals and mechanics on the scored goal. When time was expiring, our official is giving potentially confusing signals, etc. And of course, we've obviously had an equipment-related issue. Our official did not bring their shoes, which has happened to us all, has it not? All right, so let's look at all of the things on this play. Let's go. First of all, we have a designated spot throw-in in an end-of-game situation, right? What are our habits and fundamentals? Do we approach the situation casually or are we specific? We have, in this instance, 5.2 seconds remaining in a two-possession game, right? It's easy to think that in this situation, there really is no opportunity for this team to pull off a victory. And so we could potentially let our guard down. But again, we want our habits and fundamentals to always be on point, especially in end-of-game situations, so we don't have that relaxing of an approach we'd want to take in the game, right? So where is our throw-in spot? Are we designating a throw-in spot, or are we just letting the player determine where they're going to throw the ball in from, right? To me, in this situation, I want to designate the spot. I want to be clear about that. If I've got a defender who's potentially going to violate the boundary plane, I want to be clear to them that they must remain behind. If we have just a basic approach in that fashion, we're better off. But our player sort of determines their spot. Do they violate? We can't say that they did. We don't know what the spot was. We've got a great three-point try. Score it. The clock runs a little bit past what it should have. We didn't make a correction. The ball was tipped on the resulting throw, and the clock should have started. By rule, it did not. It did not appear to. And then we have a subsequent goal. Our official appears to be waving off the goal, but in fact, they were just saying, basically, the game is not over. We're going to put time back on the clock, and we're going to have a resulting throw-in. Again, remembering NCAA men's and women's, the clock stops in the final 59.9. And then subsequently, we have an inbounds play. Were we prepared as a crew for the inbounds play? So this is a great situation for us to review so that we can make sure that our habits and fundamentals are solid in end-of-game situations. So let's go here and look at all the things. Ball goes in. Clock would appear to continue to roll. Again, yeah, it's down to 2.8. The ball is tipped. What I did is I superimposed when the clock should have started here. And we see that it did not have an impact on whether the shot should count. It would be released in time. And then the ball goes through the basket. When does the ball go through the basket? At what point would we want the clock to stop in this situation? When the goal is scored, when it passes completely through the basket, right? So we're in a situation where there may be 0.1 or there may be 0, but there's not 0.4, which was ultimately put on. The ball's in the basket at 0.3. The lights have lit. The score, the board says 0. If we're going to put this is a JC game, or a Division III game, so there is no monitor in this situation to review. If they did, I think we'd have a different number than 0.4, that's for sure. So it's either 0.1 or 0. The crew makes a decision that it was 0.4, giving a team an opportunity to catch and shoot. And then we subsequently have a throw-in, right? We have a situation a team has 0.4 to go the length of the floor. What have we seen in recent years? The adoption of a play that attempts to draw a foul, right? If we have a push through the screen here by the defender on this play and the team is in the bonus, then we will award bonus free throws and we will have a possible solution within. Are we prepared for that inevitability? That's what I would ask on this play. How are we going to position our crew? I think that the attempt to draw the push through here, right? The screen is illegal, but the attempt to draw was a surprise to the officials on the game. If this play occurs, if situation occurs in your game where a team will try to do something similar to this, we need to be ready for it. If we have an obvious push through the screen, it is a foul, but we have to recognize that the team may embellish in this situation. So another end of game situation that affords us an opportunity to look at all of the things, the habits and fundamentals of the crew, etc., so that when they occur in our game, when this situation occurs in your big game, your high scrutiny game, you've developed your habits and fundamentals to take care of the game and the inevitable things that may occur. Yeah. Lots of stuff going on there. I apologize. That was very lengthy. That's right. And your body language would support that on that previous. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's my specialty, Mike. Yeah. But who amongst us? So actually, funny story. I was telling my wife, the gym I was at last night, I have not been to in quite a while. But early in my officiating career, I had some youth games at that gym. First time to my gym. It's probably 30 minutes away from my house. Got to the gym, right? We're ready to go. I've got, a few minutes before game. Put my shoes on. Uh-oh. No shoes. Well, no problem. How did I come to the game, though? Crocs. Yes. I officiated the first half of that first game wearing Crocs. That would have been awesome if our official on this game had that. Yes. That's a good comment. Maybe. Right, so that's something that's a skill that we have to have in at NCAA level when the ball goes through the basket. Again, the correct number. If it runs from 3.2 down to 2.1, are we just going to say, well, that's, and we know, because the reason we know is because we are trained to look at the clock in that situation. It's funny. Rex Chapman posted a clip of this, and everybody's super excited, and everybody's focusing on the announcer's voice and the whether there was something untoward on the play or what have you. And it's just like, I'm knowing any official who looks at this is gonna look at those shoes. Zooch says, does he travel on his first 3-point shot? Well, no traveling was ruled. Tough call for us to make from the camera angle. So what happened is the clock failed to stop properly. Is what happened from 2.8 to 3.2. That's why I put the graphic on. I would not call a travel there. No way. Should have stopped at 3.2. Well, let's see. When did it pass through the goal? Right. Passes through at 3.2. Continues to run just a smidge. And again, this was a 2-possession game. The game is essentially over, right? Do we adopt that mentality as a crew, or do we, keep officiating to the very end? I mean, it's, when we're inbounding the ball with 5.2 and they're down by, 5 points or 4 points? It's a 2-possession, the chance of victory, right? If you did a probability thing, the chance of the team achieving a victory is of the opponent winning the game is 99.7. So we can mentally let our guard down just a smidge, and that's not the thing to do. Yep, but they say 0.4. Yes, it is a great finish. Billy Mack says no throw-in violation, or he felt it was a throw-in violation. How can you say that, Billy, when we don't know where the spot is? What I was tempted to do was cut out let's see. Let's go to the Let's go to the throw-in. Right. So what I tried to do in editing was I cut this picture out from this marked lane space and then brought it over here and overlaid it here. And even if he didn't violate, but he obviously took a little bit of a stroll. But our if we say this would be this. That's our spot. Yeah. The lack of precision, though, about where the spot is in this key moment of the game is a takeaway for me. Yes, that was an illegal screen for sure. Do we put a whistle on that in that situation? Do we have to? No, Jared. No. No, I think some officials are allowed to wear black shoes that have white on them, though. Absolutely, on the screen. Randy, I tried to take that into account as much as possible, but we do see 2.8 when the resulting throw-in comes in. And on the made goal, So in this situation, we have lights, horn, clock in terms of determining. The lights on the backboard are the key determination. No, not that one. This one. Right? Has the ball passed through the basket at 0.4? No. No, at 0.5, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. The lights, I mean, to me, that's definitive. The lights are on and the ball has not passed through. That ball game is over. That's what I see on that play. Jared, in high school, if we did rule on the subsequent screen that it was an illegal screen, then it would be a throw into the opponent. No free throws would be shot. But what the attempt is by the team is to gain a foul for pushing through the screen on the defender. And our defender's not is surprised by the screening action. And I think the way we were positioned, our crew this is a situation we have to bring this up. In this situation, if 0.4, they have to go the length of the court, right? We've got to we at least recognize, hey, if they try to set a screen, let's make sure, right, the screener's legal, etc. Where do we want to position our crew? We don't see the whole court here. But it is obviously a timeout, and we have a chance to strategize about what may happen next. Dr. Phil has a throw-in violation. Where was the box? Who knows? That is the mystery wrapped in an enigma. Right. So regarding the throw-in, my take is the lack of the designation. I mean, did he violate? Did he not violate? Are we like loose in our adjudication in that situation due to the fact that this team is going to lose? This team's going to lose. It's not, everybody knows this game is essentially over. We're just like, going through the final motions, right? So are we like lax in that moment? But that's that. That's that. Whew. What is the next play? All right. So this play, for live stream viewers, I want you to help me adjudicate this play. My brain says this is a foul. Why is this a foul? Why would this not be a foul? You make the call on our live stream. Help a brother out. Let's look at another bonus play. So my brain says that is a foul, right? So this is really a well-crafted play, this sort of offset elevator action in a two-person game. This is potentially something that could catch us by surprise. But let's look at the action, right? So we got the screening action that our lead is responsible for here, and then elevator action on the far side, and our defender, anticipating the elevator action, moves their body into the path of the player trying to move through the two teammates. In a 7-point game with 10 seconds remaining in the fourth period, right? Our home team is going to lose this game. Are we lax? Or, there was no call on this play, but the calling official Andrew Maurer, this was his ruling on the play. It wasn't like relative to the time and score or anything like that. He didn't feel that this was a foul. Why would this be a foul? You tell me. So we are, does guarding come into play? I mean, this is not his man. He is one of the players who are going to set the screen on the elevator. And we have a crafty defender who says, oh, you want to go through, you want to shoot the gap between the players? Well, I'm just going to position my body there. Have we done so legally? Do screening rules come into play? I don't know what I'm befuddled. I'm befuddled. Keith, in the previous action, NCAA men, they don't get to advance the ball. Why? I don't know. I don't know why they don't change that rule. Jared likes the call here, or the no call. Greg has foul on White. Jason says team control. Yeah, Trail very shruggish. So is the action by Red, the crafty player on Red here who anticipates the movement and gets into a moving player's path, actually while they're airborne, right, as they were sort of leaping through, that's legal? Hey, Cody, good to see you. All right, so does every player have a right to a spot? Can we move into the path of a moving an opponent, first of all, even if we're not guarding that player? Right? I would say that player is actually airborne. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, well, Chris, I know we share the same point of view. In a 7-point game where the outcome has been determined, we don't want to miss anything on Red, right? I know what I would call on this play, but I know I would call that. But what I want to say is I'm looking at the elements of the play. Did Red actually take an action that is illegal by rule in this situation of moving intentionally into the path of a moving opponent that they were not guarding? Red got there first. Why, Mike? Why is that a foul on Red? I agree with you. I don't know why, though. My brain can't explain why this is, because it's a player who's not guarding another player. They're moving into the path of a moving opponent. Right. So what I would do, all right. So let's say we have this elevator action, and instead of the Red player anticipating White shooting the gap and getting in their path by extending their derriere into the path of that player, let's say one of our screeners instead did the same action on the Red who was trying to, let's say, defend a player in this situation. Would that be legal? No. That would be illegal screening action. So, Mike, you're saying that I agree with you. You're saying that the defender is responsible to give time and distance to a moving opponent in this situation, but the offensive player is is not responsible because they're not the one who's moving into the path of the opponent. You know, Chris, of course, that we share that, right? So we didn't talk about positioning on this play, but that would be a thing as well. So our lead is in great position to officiate the screening action that precedes, and then the player pops out. And when I see this play, it's like move, 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 move that way, right? I would step here so that I improve my angle on the play here, just because I don't want to see the backside of the play. Hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. Um, yeah, the screening of principles applying in situations that aren't screening is I do not have a firm grasp of that. But what I see is an opponent moving and a player who steps in the path of a moving opponent. And to me, that rises to the level of a foul. I have a foul on red based on the merits of the play. I have a foul on red based on time and score. I'm going to rule a foul on red, but I'm at a loss of giving a definitive answer about why. Mike says to read 440. Do. So screening applies in non-screening situations. The principles of screening. Time and distance are relative. When screening a stationary opponent when screening a moving opponent, the screener shall allow the opponent time and distance to avoid contact by stopping or changing direction. That clearly did not. So we're saying that the screening rules apply to our defender here, our savvy defender who blows up the play by anticipating it, but in doing so steps into the path of a moving opponent, not allowing them time and distance to avoid the contact. The speed of the player to be screened will determine where the screener may take a stationary position. And Mike's contention is that the screening principles apply in this situation. But Article 6 says the screening an opponent who is moving in the same path and direction as the screener. I don't think that applies here, since one steps in front of a player who's moving in a path. The player behind is responsible if contact is made. A player who's screened within the player's visual field is expected to avoid contact. This is easy. Is it? Then how come everybody disagrees with you, Mike? Really, that's a really key takeaway from Chris is this play needs a whistle. Let's go there. Yeah. This play needs a whistle. And time and score would influence me the way I'm going to make this call. My understanding of the rules of basketball and what is legal and what's not would say that this needs a call. But do we have a situation in an end of game setting where we are just letting something go just because, right? If you're saying this is an offensive foul, this is a defensive foul, play needs a whistle, right? A player was attempting to either force their way through and displace their opponent, or a player was attempting to block an opponent who's trying to get through, and illegal contact has occurred here. In a screening situation, of course, we can have an explosion of players and a no call. It is possible, but yeah, I would take Chris's advice to heart. I don't agree. You're correct. You're correct. Everyone in the chat. Do I have another bonus play? Boom, boom, boom. Of course I do. I got Jason Hayes play. Yet another bonus play? Can we have that? Let's go. All right, last second foul. The foul occurs before the horn. Time expires. No information from the crew. We have zeros on the clock. In a tie game, they clear the lane, shoot the resulting free throws. Jason Hayes, who submitted the play, says they actually missed both free throws, and this game goes to overtime. What would be the habits and fundamentals? What's our mindset in this situation? This is an obvious foul in the lane area, and a foul is ruled. When you put a whistle on this play, are you finding a clock as quickly as possible? Do we get a look from the outside officials? No call on that play. Rebounder grabs, clearly displaced, hip contact by red 3. What was our time when the foul occurred, right? When the foul occurs is when the clock should stop. But when does the whistle blow? Boy, that's close. Are we going to be able to catch any time on the clock as an outside official in that instance? I don't know. I mean, there's some. We're closely focused on the play. We hear our partner's whistle. There's going to be some reaction time as a human being. I don't know that we could have caught this. As lead in this situation, recognizing that time is really short, do we want to come with a patient whistle or a quick whistle in this situation? I would say if some of us may have a slower response time in situations like this, high certainty, etc. We want to have potentially make sure we process the play completely. But at the same time, timing here is really important. So you can make a case that once you see that foul, you got to go get it quick because it's going to affect how much time remains in the game. But a foul is ruled. He was fouled. And we will attempt those free throws, and we do not have any information as a crew that time should be put back on the clock. We know that the foul occurred before the horn. Therefore, we will attempt those free throws. The results of those free throws, with the lane cleared, will determine whether or not overtime is played. Yeah, I don't know that our outside crew would have any chance to catch that number. That's the question, Aaron, on the play. So Jason does have a hearing-related issue, right? It would be completely dependent upon the crew here for information, right? And if you're working with a partner who has a hearing impairment, right, do you have to be aware of that fact? And in this situation, did the foul occur, did the whistle occur prior to the horn? We may need to come in and help our partner in that situation. And as a calling official, if you are in that situation and there's any sort of uncertainty, you may wait, give your partners a chance to catch you in that situation. That's only in youth games on the weekend. That is a foul on red. Absolutely. Keith says 0.5. It's going to be when the whistle blows. When does, and obviously we don't have the benefit of sound here, but we're not going to have a whistle prior to the reaction by the official. Right? That's their first reaction at 0.4. Boy, that clock moved quick. I don't know if I was Trail here, who is a million miles away from the play. I don't know that I'd have the ability to transfer my eyes up to the clock that quickly. Mike, I've got hip contact. Regulation is, it would be after the missed. Yeah, Chris is a little less precise, and he's going with a feel approach, which our crew obviously did at the Rowan play. Oh, there's no way we're going to put 0.5. There is no way. No way. Let's take a look. We're looking at the lead official. First move, right? This is when they are saying, this is the earliest the whistle could blow. It's 0.4. I do not hear you, Coach. You're yammering. Wow. JT, is that on NFHS Network? If so, let me know what the teams were. That would be a thriller. Yeah. All right. Let me do a couple of things here. I could do it after the fact, the supporter and all the things and the end of show. But if I do it as part of the live stream, it helps me out. So I'll be back in just a second. Let me do. I'm scared. I'm always scared. Hey, allow me a moment to thank our tremendous show supporters who help fuel our broadcast. Joe Raza, Thomas Hennian, Jose Lansang Jr. I did that before. The sausage is being made. Brian Kaplan. What's the last? God, forget it. Just forget it. Oh, it's a mess. Forget it. Forget it. We'll do it in post. Yes, absolutely. Right. So if we are going to put time on the clock in this situation, what do we want the optics to be? Right. Do we want the officials getting together and doing like, you know, or do we want them to act with confidence and certainty? So the officials get together, right? And we're going to say, I've got point 3, I've got point 2, right? Maybe the officials both observe the clock. And we say, let's put point 3. Let's go with point 3. What do we want? How do we want the officials to come out of that? What do we want the dynamic to be? A lot of this. Yes, I agree. I agree. That's what we have, right? And then we leave that and we go make a definitive statement to the table. Point 3 on the clock, right? We come out of that. And then the coach could say, but we've sold it with our actions, etc. We don't want to wait, should we? We have to put, we don't want our body language and our demeanor to create a situation where, we're acting uncertain or we're acting like we're making stuff up. Now, let's go out in the real world. In this situation, in our final play here, what percentage of high school officials are going to put time on the clock? Or just because? No, we have to have point 3. We have to have time on the clock. We don't know how much it was, but let's put, a number. This is going to happen in most of situations like this. That's just the bottom line. NFHS rules say, do you have definitive knowledge? Do you know what the number is? No, you don't? Then you do not have the ability to make an adjustment on the clock here. That is the situation. That is the situation. All right. Well, I am going to do it in post, obviously, since I can't get my stuff together. But, yeah, where are we? Oh, my God. It's 9:30. You guys are in for the long run. Wow. Coleman and Hartzell. All right. Thanks for that, JT. Appreciate that. We did have a shot clock situation last night. I may have deviated from NFHS rules. It's possible, but there's no video evidence. There's no video. It was a shot clock violation. Oh. I get handed this cup. I'm not responsible for what's in it. Can it be denied? If I say I have definitive knowledge, can it be denied? Well, what I do have definitive knowledge is I have a boys' high school tonight, boys' high school on Saturday, and a collegiate game on Sunday, and that is all I have on my remaining schedule until potentially there are additional playoff games. Chris, I really appreciate you joining today. Awesome to see you in the chat. And I hope everyone has a game of note that they, again, with my crew last night, it's just like, let's nail down all the fine details, end of game situation, clocks, etc., right? As we prepare for more important games in the coming weeks. It was a great tune-up for us. And if you're a young official and you watch, it's just like, if you bring that energy to all of your end of game situations, even the game is over. One team is ahead by 12 points, and there's 32.3 seconds remaining. But the way that we're practicing for games where that really, really matters, and having those details. Working on my habit, my partner had a whistle. Boom! I have the number. Oh, I saw that the clock ran. It ran from 32.7 down to 32.1, right? And this game's already decided. Now, I can make a decision. I'm going to have the timer fix the clock, because I need practice doing that. But what we've really done is we've observed the time run. And that's the key thing. And whether we say in this blowout game, etc., are we going to do that? Because here's what you do. You say, hey, reset the clock. Here's the number. And they're over there. 37 minutes and 10 seconds. No. 3 minutes and 7 seconds. No. What have you. Invariably that happens. But the key thing is making that recognition, having that number, and then you are prepared in key moments and you've trained yourself. You have that habitual action. That's really the key. We've got to train ourselves. Appreciate you, Chris. Wasn't able to get some of your many clips. We'll do that next week. We will do that next week. Ay. Somebody's got to ref it. Teams post their tremendous victories, like on Twitter, on my Twitter feed. I see, a great job by the girls tonight, 78-23. And I'm thinking, man, somebody had to ref that game. Somebody had to ref it. Yes. There's your math teacher action. All right, everybody go forth and prosper. We will see you next week on the live stream. Sorry for the late start. Sorry to keep you so late. What the heck's going on with me, man? All right, have a great one. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it.